AVC. Um, yeah, I got so much stuff, it's freaking ridiculous. So I'm going to try to get through it all. I do have a new edition. I've swapped out the, I'm not going to show it right now, maybe next time, Manley Chinook phono preamp for a West. Originally this is based on the, what's it called, the PS30 RDT Special Edition, but I had a couple problems, too long and embarrassing to go into right now. I ended up getting it, I sent it back, or sent it to England, where it's designed, and had the designer work on it, which he was wonderful and nice enough to do. Did cost a bundle, though, to upgrade it, which I decided to do to like the latest spec, which gets pretty much close to or near the sort of next model up, since the 30 series has been discontinued anyway. So I decided to go, being unable to resist. I made the plunge, so I got a pretty good investment into it. I'm listening to it right now. It's only been a couple days. It's solid state versus tube, so I'm going at the, I think in my last video I talked about I'm totally satisfied. I don't need to change anything. This is a crazy hobby. It's a little, I don't even know how to explain myself, but the bottom line, I was a little bit concerned about tube noise. The Manley is a little noisy. When I say noisy, I mean, you could hear some hum coming off it close to the speakers. And I thought that a quieter amp in the same league or better, and I think the West would be considered an upgrade, especially price-wise. In a solid state design, the power supply is separately housed. Well, it's in the same housing, but it's well separated from the rest of the board. It's dead quiet, and initial impressions are it's more resolving, more three-dimensional, which is all the stuff I'm looking for. The Manley, though, is so, the sort of tubes are so pleasant, pleasing to the ear, that, I'm still going to try to make the call as to whether I want to go, keep the Manley or stick with this. I'm leaning toward this right now, but am I enjoying it as much as the Manley? That's the question I want to see over the next week or so. My sort of enjoyment level. Right now I'm getting out, trying to listen to records all I can, which is a good sign. So anyway, let's get to the records. Wire's third album, 154, which I've never had on vinyl. I got the first two, which are varying levels of great, and I wasn't too familiar with this one, but it sounds pretty great as well. They're one of those totally unique bands you don't hear a lot about, from the punk revolution, even maybe / new wave, but they were kind of artsy or arty, sort of art school punk. I really, really like them. This is on white vinyl, which I'm sort of about. Sound is okay. Not as good as the other re-releases they did of Pink Flag and Chairs Missing recently. I'm not sure where this comes from, but I saw it, and it's like, oh, I gotta have it, so glad I did. Another Music Matters Jazz, which is really nice. This is a trio, Horace Parlan, us three, beautiful as always, and sounds amazing as always. The bass on this is just right there. You hear every pluck. So this is really, I gave it the once over, and it's great. This I still haven't listened to side 2. I was watching a Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young documentary on Amazon Prime, and which was good, by the way. I'm not even a huge fan. I like them, but it was a good documentary. And this was one that I've never really gotten into. Didn't think I'd really like. But the more I listened to Dave Crosby's other, there's a guy named David Duke on here on French horn. Probably no relation, hopefully. Yeah, I listened to Dave Crosby's album. What the hell is it called? I don't even know your name. Whatever that album is called. I can't remember, but it's great. I should know. I really, really, really like it. I surprised myself how much I like it. And I've been appreciating Crosby's writing more and more. So I decided to go in for this. And it sounded really good. Again, just listen to side one, but I haven't got further into that. We'll see. Here's another one. John Martin, One World. This sounds incredible. Really incredible. Immaculately recorded. I think late 70s. If you know John Martin's Solid Air, that's an awesome record. And this is really good too. I mean, it's not too different. It's a little more, later, a little bit, bringing in some different influences, but nearly as good. So I was really pleasantly surprised by this, listening to it a lot. So highly recommended. And there's Phil Brown, one of the engineers on there. So there you go. Bartok's Miraculous Mandarin. Decca. Pretty wonderful. I love Bartok. I never had this piece, so I've been getting to know it. There's also two portraits on here. I'm getting to know it, and of course, I pretty much liked everything that I've heard of Bartok. So this is great. And as with most Decca recordings, sounds pretty amazing too. Now here was a real surprise. This is Emmylou Harris's Roses in the Snow. I am not a bluegrass fan. I don't really like Americana as a genre, per se. I'm in a punk band, and it's like it grates on my nerves. Mumford and Sons and the whole wave that came from that, and I really don't like it at all. And I'm surrounded by it. I'm in a town where that's what everyone loves. So that's why I'm in a punk band, because you got to be on the outskirts. That's the way it should be. But anyway, I got this, and as I read about it, this was her dabbling into bluegrass, and AllMusic describes it as a fairly daring change of pace for her, which was more of, I don't know if you call it country pop, but she was a fairly traditional country artist. And I've liked a couple of her other albums. Again, more than I thought. She's an amazing singer. Came at her, of course, through Graham Parsons, as the usual rock way you come to Emmylou Harris. But I got to tell you, this is awesome. I listened to it and I was just like, I don't know what it is about this, but I instantly love it. There's something. It's so. Is sincere the word? Is authentic the word? Heartfelt? I don't know. There's just something about it that is just right. Just right. So I am really, and it sounds incredible too. Really, really well recorded. So I highly recommend you seek this out if you don't have it. If you like Emmylou Harris at all, give this a shot. Again, Roses in the Snow. Can't say enough good things about it. My friend Darryl recommended this to me, Benjamin Britten's War Requiem. I just spun side one, which sounded pretty damn good, but I haven't listened to the rest of it, so I can't speak much about it. But looking forward to digging into that further. In fact, that's next on the list. Another Music Matters, Dippin', Hank Mobley. Always got to show the. Is this the? Oh no, this isn't the Music Matters. This is the acoustic. What is it? Analog Productions. I want to get the right Analog Productions. This sounds great too. Not the packaging isn't quite as stellar as the Music Matters, but no matter. It's just 45 RPM. There's 2 albums in here, and they did a terrific job. And I like the other Hank Mobley I have. I like Workout, Soul Station. This one's right up there. Really, really good. So, huge Warren Zevon fan. Huge. Never had this on vinyl. I had it on cassette at one point. I never listened to it. I always thought it was supposed to be like, it's some horrible period for him. It's actually pretty good. Some really good songs on here. Run Straight Down, Long Arm of the Law, Turbulence I like. Transverse City's decent. Splendid Isolation is a great song. So there's a lot on here. This is not it's not a well-known Zevon album, Transverse City, but it's from '89, so it may be hard to find the vinyl. I was lucky to find that too. But all his albums are good to some degree. It's another Analog Productions. This is from the RCA, Living Stereo. This is well known. It's got a great reputation. So I don't really have to say much about it. Very dynamic record. If you want to check out the dynamics on your system, this is a good one, probably to test it out with. And it's just kind of like cool music, which airs on the spooky side, not on Bald Mountain, Dance Macabre, like stuff like that. Mephisto Waltz from Liszt. So highly recommended, of course. What do I say about this? It's Music Matters. That's a great picture there. But gosh darn it, it's mono. I have this album in a. I didn't check. It's I have this album in maybe a '70s re-release, Dark Blue Note maybe, which sounds really good. Even that one sounds really good. So I thought this was just going to be terrific, and it is terrific. But it's mono, and an album like this, that it was recorded in stereo, or is available in stereo, and it's a great stereo recording. The instruments are just laid out so nicely on the stage. It's not one of those hard left, hard right albums. It's a lot of thought went into it, and it's one of my favorites of that period, the way they set it up and recorded it. So I was really kind of disappointed that I did not check this. So I think I might actually sell this on Discogs, because this cost a decent, pretty penny, and I just opened it, and someone, a good loving home should have this. These are running out, and if I can't sell it, I'll be glad to have it, but glad to keep it. But I think I think all the stereos are sold out, and I'm probably gonna have to go to Analog Productions. I think they might have one stereo, so I'm gonna keep looking for, one of the redone reissues that someone did from the original tapes. An original is just, it's probably not worth hunting down for the cost that it would be. So an amazing album, but I was a little bit like, oh no. You'll notice this theme with me where I constantly screw stuff up. Here's another Decca. I've been trying to get some of these Deccas because I've heard a lot about them, and true to form, they're all pretty great. This is Schoenberg's Complete Works 4 Chamber Ensemble. So it's got Pro Lumiere on it, of course, and I don't know, I always mess this up. Verklarte Nacht, Transfigured Night, I think is the translation, which is one of my favorite pieces. Period. I love it. It's sort of Mahler-esque, or maybe Mahler is Schoenberg-esque. I can't remember the timing on this, but he was writing this about the same time that Mahler was writing stuff. But it's that stuff where it stretches tonality, but it's controlled, and it's still contained within the diatonic harmony, but stretching it, which is that's around the turn of the century. That's stuff I love. That's why I like Bartok so much. Stuff I love. So that stuff's great. It's also got his weird stuff on there too. Should have picked this up when it first came out. I think it's one of McCartney's best records, Chaos and Creation, in the Backyard. Really is strong all the way through. And some real highlights. Friends to Go. At the Mercy is really good. English Tea. How Kind of You. The first side is really terrific. The second side is still pretty good, but I think falls off from the first side. But still, everything's pretty good on here to really good. So this is the new one. Sounds okay. That's all I'll say about it. It's Nigel Godrich who makes a sound. I love Radiohead. I love what he does. I love what he did with Beck. But I'm not sure about this transfer or what they did. It's a little flat and unexciting sounding, but good. But it's nice to have anyway. Here's one. If you don't know, I can really, really recommend. This is, Caribou's Up in Flames. When this first came out, they were called Manitoba. When I first got it, I don't know if I reviewed it for No Ripcord. I used to write for NoRipcord.com. You can check out some reviews on there, and they're still going strong. Great music review site, if I can say so, being part of it. But when this first came out, it was Manitoba, and I loved it right away. I don't even know how to describe it. It's not really electronic, really. It's like it's a throwback, but in a modern way. That's all I'll say about it. Check it out. Go stream it. You're gonna know right away whether you like it or not. I think it's terrific. They had to change the name to Caribou because there was another band called Manitoba, I think, at the time. So they've re-released this under the name Caribou. This used to be, say, Manitoba. And their second album, Andorra, is really good, too. I lost track with them after that, but I was really glad to pick this up. Can you believe it? I got so much stuff, it's ridiculous. Here's another Emmylou Harris album. Not as good as the other one, but very good still. This one is the more like what you'd imagine from Emmylou Harris. So I don't have really much to say about it. Again, her albums are recorded really well too. Speaking of McCartney, another one I never bothered to check out, which was the Fireman Project. I heard a couple things off, and I'm like, oh, I like that stuff. Sing the Changes, and I think there were too much. Maybe I heard Two Magpies. There's a couple things you creep through to me, but this is all really, really, really good. Just really good. I love McCartney's, and McCartney 2 is one of my favorite albums. I love when he lets his hair down a little bit or does some weird stuff. I think well, look, he's McCartney. I would just, if you've been avoiding this for some reason, you think it's not going to be, stuff I like. It's more McCartney-esque than I would have expected. So if you like him, you're probably going to like this. Count Basie, Billy Eckstine. I don't know how to say it. Nice vocal, big band album. On Roulette, sounds really, really good. From back in the day. I'm not too much into Basie, but this is enjoyable. I'll spin this once in a while. Fleetwood Mac's Mirage. Another one I kind of avoided for a long time, and then I realized, looked at this, I'm like, geez, I like a lot of these songs. Love in Store. One what was the other one? Hold Me was a hit, and Gypsy's on here, and Gypsy's maybe one of my favorite latter day Fleetwood Mac songs. I love the Peter Green stuff. That's my favorite stuff. But sort of the Buckingham Nicks, Fleetwood Mac, Gypsy's one of my favorite songs. It's so great, and this album is pretty darn good overall. You know, it's no rumors, but it's worth having and pretty darn good. Do you guys know The Streets? You should. This guy was a British rapper from the 2000s. This original Pirate Material, I think his first album. I saw this was available on vinyl. I had to get it. It's great. It's funny. It's funny, and it's really good and tuneful too for rap music, which doesn't always rely on those techniques. Maybe being a Brit, you know, he's and you know, I don't know, he's a white British rapper. It's just a sort of a weird combination, but it's really great. And their other album, Grand Don't Come for Free, is even better. It's like a concept album, but I can't find that on vinyl, at least not easily. But I'm going to keep looking for it because it's awesome. Here's one I haven't even played yet, Big Spiderbeck. It's just, I do like this stuff. So, actually really, I got to check this out. It's on my list, but you know, this is like sort of the old school Louis Armstrong, Hot 7, Hot 5s things. That's, you know, that kind of thing. And, you know, awesome stuff. This is the UK track listing of Fleetwood Mac's Then Play On, speaking of Peter Green. So this is a reissue, which sounds decent. Actually, the original album sounds decent. I have the American version. It's not the greatest audiophile record in the world, but it's decent. But this is nice to have because it's got a couple extra songs on it. The other one does not have. So I like having both. It's a great album. If you don't have that, you must get it. Either the American or British, doesn't matter. Got this. Triumphs of Sparks. Not really my thing. I'm gonna have to give it a few more listens. Didn't think I'd like it when I bought it, and I was probably right, but we'll see. Oh, forgot I had this. I want to listen to it. Miles Water Babies. This is one, you know, I have almost every Miles album. This is one I did not have, and it's just really good. Obviously, it's got the, you know, the Herbie Hancock, Tony Williams, Ron Carter, Wayne Shorter lineup, and he adds Chick Corea and Dave Holland on the second side. So he's getting into that electronic sort of electric phase. His first dipping his toe in the water there, no pun intended. And I just think it's really good. I love almost everything he does. And here's a great one. How can you turn this down? The Sun Story. I mean, the stuff that's on here. Good Rockin' Tonight, Elvis. Rocket 88. Blue Suede Shoes, Carl Perkins. Folsom Prison Blues. You know, Johnny Cash. It's got Roy Orbison. Devil Doll. That's Alright, Elvis. Matchbox, Carl Perkins. Whole Lot of Shaking Going On, Jerry Lee Lewis. It's got Charlie Rich on here. Great Balls of Fire, Breathless, I Walk the Line, High School Confidential. I mean, whoa! It sounds pretty damn good, too. It's on Rhino. I looked this up and it's like, oh yeah, definitely get this. It's great, and it is. And that's it. Thank God I'm done. God, that was a lot of stuff. Now I can put all that away if I have room. So, until next time, see you later.